What are storm tracers? Are they electric inline skates? Can you jump on them, do tricks, commute? How different are they from normal inline skates? Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm the founder of Thundrblade. I've been doing this for more than 10 years. I've been building, rebuilding, breaking, thinking, and rethinking all about the electric inline skates for the past 10 years. This video exists to clearly define what storm tracers are. Because once something is defined, it will grow. But before that, let's start with the roots. You've probably seen inline skates and quad skates or traditional or roller skates. So why electric skates are not done on quad skates and they're done with inline skates? Because many people don't realize how fundamentally different they are. Start with the basics. Inline skates are called inline because their wheels are disposed, arranged in a line, so one behind the other. While quad skates, like the OG skates, right? The thing that is the origin of skateboards, right? You have the trucks. You have two wheels and two wheels, like a pair and a pair in the same axle. Now, it is just wheel arrangement, but it defines everything around the technique and how you skate. And of course, how you feel on these. Since inline skates are in a line, and when seen from the front, they can lean. This means that you can actually carve in them. And quad skates don't lean, they cannot incline. So it's really like a limited experience in carving. Inline skates feel like you grew wings, right? Like you're running with the wind. But quad skates, you feel a little bit more locked to the ground, like you feel trapped. Since you can't do the leaning angle with your body that much, it's a different experience. So inline skates, you feel that carving in every turn, every shift of weight, every glide that's cleaner than the sum of its parts. That's why inline skates can feel like an extension of intention, not just a wheel under your foot. And because of that wheel arrangement, inline skates often feel faster, and they usually are faster because you have less rolling resistance and you have bigger diameter wheels and everything. So because the wheel profile and the wheel diameter, you go through rough pavement or asphalt much easier and feel less vibration. So it feels smoother than quad skates when you go outside and on sidewalks or rough asphalt. So this is the foundation we talk about when we're talking about skating experiences. And because of that difference in experience and that difference in speed, it just makes more sense to go the inline route when we're talking about electrification. We're gonna put motors on something to augment that experience. So since we want the flow, we want that smoother experience outside, it makes more sense to go with motorization on inline skates than quads. You could do quads, you could do inline skate with motorization. So we choose usually go in the inline route. Before electrification became practical, some people have tried motorizing skates before. You might be surprised, but yeah, motorized skates are nothing new. Like around 60 years ago or something, some people tried to put gas-powered engines on a skate. It were like a 4-stroke engine that you had to actually turn it on. And they could go actually quite fast, around 20 miles per hour or like 30 to 40 kilometers an hour. Those are quirky, wild ideas that sometimes they worked, sometimes people ended up in the hospital. No one even bothered making regulations about them because it was like a DIY here, DIY there. It never caught on. So when we flash forward a few decades and we got in the era of Kickstarter and we see electric skateboards flourish and appear, a lot of brands appearing, some dudes tried to make electric skates as well. One example is Acton rocket skates. But rocket skates were not really roller skates. They were not inline skates. They actually were more around heelys because you have an axle on your heel with two wheels, one motor on each foot, and you needed to do this with your feet to go because you would step like this, right? And you go. The first version was like motion controlled. You need to go forward, but if you went too forward, you like put the front of your foot on the ground. It was not a very pleasant experience. I actually tried one of them. But yeah, other than that, there were other concepts, like one that's called ice shoes. Never went anywhere. And the freewheel smart, we had a couple Kickstarters about one other guy that tried roller skates with the motor inside, okay? So it's been tried before. Also, electric skateboards are all over the place right now. And back in the 70s, people put gas-powered engines on skateboards as well. You can actually buy them to this day. Usually they have a throttle, like a hand throttle, with the cable going through, just like it looks a lot like a bicycle brake, right? Where you have a lever and then it pulls a cable that goes there and accelerates the engine. But now we have electric skateboards that are cleaner, less noisy, lighter, and they actually go as fast as. And we have a lot of other gadgets, rideables that use electric propulsion, like electric unicycles or self-balancing boards like the hoverboard or the Segway. And of course, let's not forget about electric scooters. You have seen the rentals and you have seen the Chinese ones. Even Segway made a lot of them. So electric kick scooters are like everywhere. So the pattern is clear. Once electric motors became practical enough, right? When the technology got good enough, people strapped them everywhere. So why would skates be any different from that? Because let's be clear, inline skating is the best one, right? So anyway, some of the innovation stuck, as we've seen on the market, and most of them have faded. So what is electric inline skating? What are the differences when you strap electric motors to your foot and then you go on a merry way leaning and carving around with electric motors? The biggest difference is how you interact with the device. All of those other devices go on top of it. Some you have a handle, some you go on top, some you actually put in between your legs, but only skating, you get actually strapped to the thing. Like you wear the thing, you don't go on top of it. It means you can't bail, right? The wheels are strapped to your foot. With skates, you're not a passenger, you are the vehicle. So you have to move with intention. So your entire balance system is alive in every step, every lean, every shift. So add propulsion to this whole integrated body system and something new happens. The motor isn't a replacement for motion or for effort. It's an amplifier of intent, right? You don't stop leaning, you don't stop balancing, you don't actually stop pushing. You don't stop jumping, you don't stop spinning. You just own the motion with more range and more intention. So when you put all of this together, somehow just calling them electric inline skates, it doesn't feel right. Because you're getting together with everyone else. And we are fundamentally different in that regard. So we needed a different name. We needed a new naming that we could actually show the world that this is different. We needed something that not just described the hardware, but the experience in motion. That's when Storm Tracer was born. When we realized we aren't actually building just another gadget. We were building a new movement modality. It's not enough to say electric inline skates, and that's it. Because Storm Tracers open access to the city in a way others can. Not just flat streets or up hills or down hills, but narrow paths, crowded plazas, uneven terrain. A lot of these spaces that felt locked from you, like you were denied access to those. Like when you have a very narrow, like a tire wide path and you can't actually skate because you have the sideway movement over the curb or over benches. All of these spaces in the city that you were not allowed, it felt that you were not allowed there because you couldn't actually push over there. All these spaces open up to you. So there are always these paths or places that you would want to go through, you wanted to try going over it, and somehow it felt a little bit confined, you felt trapped, it's awkward to go through those places. And with electric inline skates, you can. So because it opens up these, because you get all of this new access to the city and all its places, we need this name. We need a name that can englobe all of this. That's why we're calling them storm tracers. Also, let's not forget that when you put motors in your skates, you get something else besides propulsion. You get braking. Because you can brake and recharge your battery, you can now control your speed going downhill much better, okay? Even if you have rough asphalt where you have a hard time sliding your wheels to control your speed, or you need to brake really fast, you don't have that perfect asphalt to slide, electronic braking, it really gives you a lot more, it gives you a lot more confidence, okay? It makes it safer and make it more controllable. So it's control you get, control you decide when to use it, okay? You can still slide with your wheels, right? No one is telling you not to do, but now it's an option. You can brake. So sometimes you are on those narrow paths and it's really hard to brake on those narrow paths because of the floor, the ground, and you can use electronic braking. When you're going through crowded zones, crowded plazas, maybe a mall, and you don't have a lot of space to go skating and you need to brake on a dime, right? You need to brake. So electronic brake opens up those spaces for you to go really slowly and safely. Sometimes you want to go inside a pharmacy, inside of a shop, and the store is really small, really confined, so you have really good control going inside the aisles and using the electronic brake to be at a stop when you need to go. You need to be still. Once you open up these spaces, the city stops being something you try to fit in and starts being something you play in. But this movement didn't start alone. It was supported by people who believed that skating deserved to be more than it was allowed to be. So if you were here for the early prototypes, the early fails and the long silences, thank you very much. This prologue exists because you believed. So this video actually lays the foundation. In chapter 1, I will explain why storm tracers exists at all. And in chapter 2, we'll explore how they're meant to be ridden. And in chapter 3, we will look forward into the future and what the future actually reserves to storm tracers. And this is the language we use from now on. Let's move into the storm.